Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we've got three brand new decks for you from three of the very best players in all of Marvel Snap. We've got a Lamby deck. Lamby already broke Havok. Shock of shocks, I know. Ava is sitting top, I believe, like 13 in the world. Actually, have the number later on a later slide, and is completely crushing everything. And Quinee has a visible Patriot deck. You know, Quinee loves Patriots, and when she plays it, it's often a powerful meta-defining deck. Before we go any further, though, we're going to invite you to hit that sub button, like, and comment this video. It helps us grow. We're trying to hit 8,000 subs. We just hit 7, and we're growing so fast. We really appreciate all your love and support. We bring you at least 3 brand new decks every single weekday for you. In addition to those 3 brand new decks, we also have bundle guides. We have stuff for new cards. We have pro tips, everything you need to improve your game. Marvel Snap, completely free to support us, and it helps us out by you subbing. It helps us grow, helps us reach more people. Thank you so much for your support. We also do a ton of giveaways. In fact, one of our wonderful viewers and friends from our Discord has decided that we should have a giveaway this season. I was going to do a Christmas giveaway, and I bought my son and wife a bunch of Christmas presents and didn't have the extra money for it right now. So this person has stepped in, would prefer to remain anonymous, with the giveaway. We are giving away the Naughty or Nice $10 bundle. In order to get that bundle, you subscribe here and comment on this video. What you're commenting is, how have you replaced Jeff and Iron Lad while climbing CL? If you haven't replaced Jeff and Iron Lad while climbing CL, you can explain that you got them right away and just tell us a little story. As long as you do that, you are entered to win this lovely bundle. That's actually really great value for $10, assuming it comes out as promoted. $10 for 1,000 gold, 500 credits, and a really kind of adorably creepy variant. And an avatar is really a really good deal. So please do that if you're interested. In addition to that, we maintain a giveaway sheet here on the channel. That giveaway sheet has every active giveaway in Marvel Snap currently. Every single one is on the sheet, thanks to our friend Banshee. We get nothing out of this. It's just a way for you to find some cool content and get some free stuff. All right, we're going to begin, as we always do, with our questions of the day. And then I didn't redo this top thing on the slide. The top person should be Lamby. I've warned y'all at the start of the week. Last teacher week before Christmas was going to have some sloppiness on the slideshow. I do owe you one. All right, so we're going to start with actually a Lamby deck. You can find Lamby at Lamby Series TV on Twitch. He's if you just type in Lamby Series on basically everything, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, he pops up. He's someone you should be following. He is the best player in all of Marvel Snap. Then the second thing we're doing is not that. We're actually going to, well, no, it is. I'm totally wrong. We're going to look at the Sugar, Spice, and Everything Ice bundle update. Then we're going to take a look at an Evazor deck. Eva's one of the best players in the game, a Brazilian player who's a friend, who's doing great things. And then we have Quinee's deck. You can find them all at the links below. In between those two, we're going to look at Twitch drops, daily giveaways, and more. Now, series drops were announced yesterday. If you are curious about my thoughts about series drops, spoiler, I think they're very disappointing. I go over every card with decks for all of them and thoughts on every single bit of it in a video from yesterday afternoon. If you're looking for Havok, I've got a full Havok video yesterday morning. So make sure you check that out. Also notable, tomorrow morning, we will be doing both a morning video for decks, just like always, and then an afternoon video with the OTA. So make sure you stay tuned for that as well. All right, questions of the day. Nick Frzev says Darkhawk could have gone to Series 3 thanks to the Blob nerf. So I think Darkhawk especially should have gone to Series 3. Every support piece for Darkhawk but Zabu is in Series 3. Your Rock Slides, your Black Widows, your Korgs are things that you should get around then. Keeping Darkhawk in Series 4 at this point almost seems unfortunate. It is the oldest card. It was one of the original cards that was released into the game when Series 4 and 5 came into the game. I could not agree more that Darkhawk should be Series 3. Also, the Blob nerf really hit it hard. It's still a really good card in really good decks, but you have to build specifically around it and use cards like Leech to protect from Blob, or you have to just not play Darkhawk, because it's absolutely backbreaking watching him become 0 power. But look, it was time for the card to go down. I can't imagine. Basically, what they did this series drop is they dropped all the bad cards, and there's just not going to be enough bad cards if they do this, say, every 3 months. It's just not going to be enough bad cards again for them to like not drop some good stuff, and I have to assume Darkhawk's getting dropped then. DJ Suppley wants to know if the game would be more fun without Professor X and Eliath, and if Leech gave all on reveals -3 or something like that. I don't like the Leech change. I don't like Leech. I think Leech is really upsetting design for the game. It does too much fundamentally is my main concern with it. I am not a Leech fan. I think the game is generally better without Leech. I think the game is probably better with Professor X and Eliath. So before Eliath, the game, it was basically always right to throw priority. That's not as interesting as the tension created on you're not sure whether you should be gaining or throwing priority. You have to try and read the deck, read the player. It makes conquest games more interesting as you have to adjust. So I think that Eliath is ultimately really solid design, especially now the way he works. I think the killing unrevealed things when that works with Dream Dimension or Invisible Woman might be problematic, but that's a problem for when they release Supergiant in a few months. Professor X, I think, is going to get nerfed. I think Professor X's problem is fundamentally power, much like a lot of my problem with Eliath was power. I think if you knock a power or two off Professor X, he's a much more balanced card. I fully expect Professor X to be a 5/2 tomorrow. It's just, it feels right to me. They could redesign the damn card in a month, right? But I don't think they want Lockdown to be the dominant deck that it is, and I don't know how they get away from that without Professor X. And nerfing Professor X also brings Blob kind of in line, because Blob is a lane winner, right? So if you're going to run a lane winner on 6, like a single lane winner, that means you need to be able to win another lane earlier. You can use something like Storm for that, but there's much more tension in using Storm than Professor X, so that's my working assumption. We're going to see Professor X hit. However, every so often, someone does ask me about whatever, how do I phrase this? About which of the, like, tech cards should be nerfed in Marvel Snap. Which of the cards that, like, are sort of interactive should be nerfed. Some people just want to do their own thing in the game and not really have interactivity, which is fine, right? But, like, too often when that happens, the game becomes Shuri Red Skull, where it's just, like, about putting up the biggest numbers all the time. And that can be fun for a little while, but sooner or later we determine what the biggest number grabber is, and then there's nothing else to really compete with that, and that's not a fun game. So this kind of card is important to have a healthy metagame. You need diversity. Our final question, Chad Tompkins. Chad asks questions all the time. We love Chad. Wants to know what other YouTube channels I suggest, and that's going to get its own slide. I'm going to recommend way too many at you. If you'd like your questions read in tomorrow's video, leave one in the comments. Don't forget to leave a comment about Jeff and Lad, and then throw a question at the end. Maybe you'll end up in the video. I save all the questions. This way there's a nice big bank, so in case no one asks something for a couple days, we've got plenty in the backups. All right. YouTube's I love. This is specifically to YouTube, not Twitch, and I also pointedly did not include the like 40,000 people. Like, you should probably know Nina's a noob, and Binks. Sorry, Nina is noob. You should probably know Binks. You should probably know Kosi, Dex, Alex Kochia. Those are like the biggest and most famous people in the game. If you don't know them, I don't know, leave a comment. I'll explain them later. So the first 3 are really big, and then everyone else is I don't know, around the same size as me or smaller. So Lamby series is the best player in the game. He has a YouTube. If you want to get better at the game, he's the single best player to watch, including me. He's the best, and he talks about strategy constantly. You'll see when we get to our first deck. Cam Best fundamentally shapes the meta. He is the competitive guru of the game, and he's where you look for that. And Collins is probably like the most analytical person overall who covers sort of everything Marvel Snap. He's falling off Snap at least a little bit right now, but when he's on, there's no one quite like Collins. The rest of these people are people more in my size bracket. The first 3 are bigger than I am by about 10,000 subs or so. I guess Lamby's not actually bigger than I am in subs. He's just super huge on Twitch. All right. Revis is a super competitive Marvel Snap player who lands near the top of that competitive ladder and releases video with completely unique decks that are really, really strong. I need to focus Revis decks more. Bootman is a very opinionated, very well-spoken and intelligent person who I love listening to his opinions and always makes me think. Peaceful C is probably the content I consider closest to mine. He does videos all the time about decks and breaking them down and card replacements and all that good stuff. Savage Yeti is the bundle guru, but he also does really great stuff with decks. Wolver Snap covers absolutely everything. He's another daily content creator. Super great stuff. Prashant is deck guides and interviews that are great. I have an interview there if you'd like to check it out. Fathor Newman plays basically every day and streams on YouTube. While he will tell you he's not the best player, he's more than good enough, and his stories are absolutely fantastic. Combat's another highly competitive player. Think similar content to Revis, where you're getting unique decks at high level play. Drewberry Snap is he's another huge one. I guess he should have been in the top three. So whatever. Drewberry is huge, and he does all the like new card and fan card stuff. Dr. Artillery is like a weekly variety content. Great decks, great personality. He's on the podcast last week, which you can check out over on Marvel Snap Zone if you have interest. D Money is a legit top tournament player, super fun person, does music for Snap, plays phenomenally, plays totally self homebrewed and unique decks. Gaming with Flash X is probably going to be in the comments, and I'm going to yell at him to release more frickin' videos. His stuff is fantastic. And finally, the Snapping is you can find me on there, like Don't Call Me Shuri a couple times. That's their podcast thing. But they also do a variety show, which is like Snap Saturday Night Live or Snap Adult Swim. That is completely fantastic. So those are the people I would check out in Marvel Snap, and I hope you will too. Oh, also, I 1,000% missed people. I put this together in 10 minutes by going through who I follow and seeing who's released videos recently that I watched and enjoyed. So if you haven't released in a little while and I like you, really sorry. So, you can yell at me for forgetting you if you want, but I promise it was not on purpose. All right. Our first deck for today is Lamby. He calls it 15% Concentrated Power of Will. This is the Bounce Shell, the Darkhawk free Bounce Shell that we're largely playing now because Blob kills that damn deck. If you lose priority, this deck has a really solid Blob matchup, though, because Shang-Chi and Shadow King completely wreck a Blob lane. Havok gives you an amazing way to answer Professor X right now. If you can get Havok into the Professor X lane, along with basically anything else, you fundamentally always win. On turn 4, Havok is going to be a 212 at that point, which is just stellar stats. You have the regular bounce way to win, and then you also have the occasional something like 15% of the time, you're going to see Havok and Viper by turn 2. And when you do see that, you just snap, and then you play Havok on 2, Viper on 3, and you win. Your opponent's stuck at 3 energy, you get up to 5 energy. Their deck is not usually built for that. Enjoy your victory. So Nico can be Ham or Widow. If you want a Hood anti-free version, check Monday's video. It's like a Leech version that you can run perfectly fine. Viper and Havok can be Sentry and Ham, or Black Widow is perfectly fine here. This went 38 and 21 yesterday, 64.4% win rate in high infinite. Lamby is right now the number 7 ranked player in the world. He was number 1 last season and like number, 3 the season before. So turn 1, Iceman's better than Hood's better than Forge. Turn 2 is generally dropping more ones, or you can snap if you have Havok and Viper. Drop Havok before you do that. Turn 3, Viper or a bunch of 1s. You can also, if you've played 3 1s at this point, drop Beast. Turn 4, Havok and Viper together with a snap again, or 1s plus bounce. Turn 5, Annie. Turn 6, Shang or Shadow King, and replay all your cheap stuff. Sorry, I completely screwed up. There's one extra thing here. That a really important card, Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night is your other play on 3, not 1s. Excuse me. Werewolf is another snap condition because the Werewolf remains one of the very best cards in the game. Will it be nerfed? Probably. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3-1, not a 3-3 to lower its floor, but we'll see. All right, Lamby has some thoughts on the deck. So again, 15% of the time you have Havok and Viper by 2. This is the Bounce Shell, which Lamby considers OP. It has an auto-win combo, but can still win just by doing the standard bounce game plan. Most games are won by Bounce Wolf or Havok in unreachable locations, and examples are the Kiln, Professor X, and Storm. Also the location that doesn't let high cards be played there. Annie is just for Hood, so you don't need Annihilus. You can totally play this with just Hood and not Annihilus. Just try it in with Hood not on the board, instead in your hand. And Viper can randomly clog an opponent. You do not have to hit that Hood. You do not have to hit that Havok. You can throw a whatever card, right? Like you throw an Iceman across if it's going to fill their lane or whatever, and then that's a lane that's easy for you to win. That's extremely powerful. Viper's just good here because it's a 2. One last look at the deck along with look at variants. This is a decently hippie deck We've got our Iceman, our Falcon, our Beast, and our Annihilus. That's 4. It's great. Art Adam Shang-Chi, the really cool werewolf. I bought this Viper specifically because I think it's kind of creepy and appropriate for Viper. The best Shadow King of the game. I will be buying this Havok by the time any of you see this video. Midnight Suns Nico, Hellfire Gala Forge, and Noir Hood. Variants I love for almost every card in this deck. The Havok one, I guess I don't officially have yet. All right, the Sugar and Spice bundle was, according to data mines, nerfed to this. They are, yesterday I was super upset about this. This is a bundle that we've all been saving for. I think it's completely obnoxious that they don't just have a bundle calendar that they release every month so that we can plan and budget. Most Marvel Snap players, and again, I know this because I can see my YouTube analytics, are adults. If you're an adult playing this game, odds are you have a budget, and being able to plan and budget at the start of the month is good. I understand that they want to make money, and the idea of FOMO makes them money, but they need to get this together if they want us to continue to support them at a high level. Nerfing this bundle that so many people save for literal months was a kick in the teeth. 6,000 collector's tokens and 2,000 credits is not a good deal for this bundle. It's not a good deal for 7,500 gold. However, Tucker, who's in charge of the bundles, says, "Hi there. Data mines are often not quite final, and we don't intend for folks to be able to see them ahead of time. Data mine bundles could always get their value shifted around before release. For this bundle in particular, the currently data mined version also isn't final. I expect the final version to be more credit heavy than either version before it, but less token heavy. So the 6,000 tokens is going to be nerfed, but we're looking at something like more than 7,000 credits. Is it going to be a good value? I don't want to say yes. I don't trust them right now, completely honestly. After series dropping only bad cards, after hitting this bundle pretty clearly, I want to see. I want this bundle to still be some of the best value we've ever seen. It's their Christmas bundle. If it is, I will happily eat my words. I will be on a video telling you, okay, go buy it. But for the time being, I'm in full show me mode. I don't know where you guys are. Please feel free to sound off about that in the comments. Our deck 2 is Ava's Tech Blob. So, a lot of people are trying to make the biggest blob possible, and that only matters if you're in blob mirrors. If you're not a blob mirror, having the biggest blob in the world is nice, but not pivotal, right? Blob is big enough to beat fundamentally any blob lane most of the time. He's still going to be 27 power or so. That's plenty freaking good. If Blob isn't going to be good, that means you drew Magneto, and you can play Magneto and use that to mess up your opponent's locations. Or you can drop Shang or Enchantress to end the game and take away a lot of opponent's power instead of putting power of your own on the board. Arrow lets you clog lanes. It's also just a ton of power for both Blob and on the board. And this deck does a really great job of building its own power. Silk as a 2/5 is one of the best 5s in the game. Spider-Man as a 3/5 is amazing stats. Jeff is Jeff. Craven grows huge. Nightcrawler gives you some variety. Miles is often a 1/5 for just completely bonkers stats. You get the idea. This deck is great. Ava is, as always, brilliant. So this is built for Blob, so please don't replace Blob in this deck. If you need Silk or Jeff, but one can usually be Cloak without breaking the deck, at least in my experience with Silky's move decks previously. Legion can be Vision without breaking anything. You lose some cube equity with Vision and not Legion, but it's doable. And Enchantress can be Polaris. That is Ava's suggestion. The suggestion comes because Polaris is probably better because it's 3 for the same stats as Enchantress is 4. However, if you're seeing a lot of ongoing, obviously Enchantress is better. Enchantress is particularly better if you're seeing a lot of Professor X on 4, because it's usually a 50-50 where they're going to do it. And if you can Enchantress that lane, they just wasted turn 3 on energy and turn 4 on trying to lock a location, and you got more power than them down and prevented the lock. Cool. Ava is ranked 13 globally and 7 in the Americas. See, I knew I had it written down. Turn 1 Nightcrawler, turn 2 Craven, turn 3 Spidey. Turn 4, Miles, Silk, or Jeff. Usually Silk and Jeff. Again, change that to Enchantress if you expect a Professor X. Turn 5, Arrow or Legion are the choice. Or you can drop a tech card and Miles. If they've dropped already something big or they're ramping to something big and you can see where it's going to happen, just simply dropping like a Shang with Miles is plenty of power. Turn 6 is Blob or Mags, and then you win. This deck is great. You should play it. It's easy to play and fun. All right, variant time. Whenever I use Venomized Craven, I use Venomized Silk just because they're buddies. I've got a lot of hips in this one, so you know I love to see it. Nightcrawler, Jeff, Spidey, Blob, Magneto, Legion, 6 hips. It's beautiful. We've also got my Jacinto Shang that I bought recently. I really like the way it looks animated. It's not my favorite static art, but animated looks great. We've got Sylvie Enchantress, because why not? This is my favorite Miles. I really like the hoodie. This one feels most Miles to me. And then this is just an arrow I got from somewhere other that I'm perfectly happy with. I have like 4 arrows that all I feel are relatively similar. It's not the most visually distinctive character, but hey, it's at least, fairly actiony. So that's the deck. That's what it looks like. Reminders. First, Twitch drops start today as you're watching this. We don't know what time yet, but they start. You watch for so join a stream, it'll say like Twitch drops active at the top of the stream. And this goes straight until January 2nd. So you can watch for 2 hours for 65 boosters. You watch for 4 hours for 350 credits and 6 hours for a mystery variant. Please remember that you can just turn on the stream, go AFK as long as the stream is on and you're on it. You're going to get your stuff. Make sure all the stuff is connected. What you do is when you go into the stream, you hit exclamation point Twitch drops, and it's going to give you how to connect your Twitch to the game. And then you'll be set. You just get your stuff. Daily login rewards are also kicking in soon. We don't know what's in them yet. We're all going to see together. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. But tomorrow at Reset, we have daily login rewards kicking in. Next up, the OTA is tomorrow. We're going to do my predictions in the morning video, which should be up, 4 or 5 hours before the actual OTA. And then we're going to do an afternoon OTA vid. So just so you know, tomorrow morning's video is going to end up being 2 decks, not 3, unless something blows my mind during the day, because I always give like 20 decks for the plan is at least 15 decks, but almost always 20 decks for the OTA, so you're not going to be shorted decks. Don't stress it. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you don't miss those, though. My video will go up with the OTA. Next up, we have Quinee's Visible Patriot. This deck is freaking cool. So what we have here is fundamentally a wave deck. Just so you know, I want to put Havok in this real bad. Like, I think Havok would be fantastic in this deck. But you have what amounts to a lovely Patriot deck. On turn 3, when you don't see Brood, right, you can still play Patriot if you're sure your opponent doesn't have the Enchantress or Rogue, or you can drop a wave and drop an Onslaught. And if you drop a wave and an Onslaught, now you have that Onslaught on the board. So for things like dropping Iron Man on top of for a 28 power lane, then you can go off with something like White Tiger and just like dominate the game. Cool. Wave is also really, really good. If you ever Vone on 2, you can wave and Patriot on 5. And that's just an absolute ton of power. Ravona also gives you the turn 6 Iron Man Mystique ability. If you waved into Patriot and you waved with Patriot, then you can go Onslaught and Mystique on the next turn, which is just silly, or Iron Man and Mystique on the next turn after going Patriot and Wave. And there's just like an absolutely insane amount of power. And you, of course, still have the like Brood into Absorbing Man that's so strong. You have Iron Lad to cheat out literally every freaking effect that Iron Lad can hit, except sometimes Mystique is super powerful. And you just have a 4-cost White Tiger to put tigers around the board. And if you do that early, right? If you do that White Tiger on turn 4, you can Absorbing Man that on turn 5 just fine. Lots of power. Lots of really cool and interesting things to do with this one. So this deck needs Ravona. It's built for Ravona. If you don't have Iron Lad, you're fine. You can leech, but you probably would prefer to pick a tech card. We're thinking Shang-Chi here. Could be Forge as well. Forge obviously goes well with Brood. Forge obviously goes well with Absorbing Man. All right, this is Quinee's Infinite deck. So proven effective, still really, really cool, really, really strong. Again, feel free to throw Havok in there. I'm a little obsessed, but Havok is good. Turn 1, you pass. Turn 2, because you don't have any ones. Turn 2, Ravona is super important, better than Sinister. Turn 3, Brood or Wave. Turn 4, Abs or Onslaught. Turn 5, Patriot, Mystique, or White Tiger, or Wave and Patriot. Or if you played something important, like you can go Iron Man on 4. And if you have Ravona out, you can go Mystique and Wave on 5, that kind of thing. Turn 6, Abs if Tiger. If not, Tiger and Shadow King. If not, Onslaught. Cool. you win. This deck is so cool and has so many plays. Quick variant talk here. We are only at, we're at 4, 5, 6. I take back my negativity. Also, we should be at 7 because I finally have my lovely Hip Absorb Man. But I built this like 3 days ago and it took me a couple days to get to because, well, life, right? But we have Hip Ravona, Hip Brood, Hip Wave, Hip Lat, Hip Iron Man, Hip Onslaught. That is 6 hips. We have a 7th with Hip Absorb Man. You love to see it. This is still the best Shadow King. I have this Patriot with a gold background. I have the Peach Momoko Mystique with a gold background. White Tiger remains one of the last 5 cards in the game. 4 cards technically, but 5 if you count pixels that I need a variant for. I just need it to show up in my shop. And this is the Mr. Sinister we got from our earlier Conquest season. This is my shop from yesterday, not today. This was yesterday's shop. I was pretty satisfied with it, to be perfectly honest. I decided to grab the Omega Red. I'm now 1 hip away from that album being complete. I put that hip on the screen. That is the Captain America hip. I need that one to show up. As soon as it shows up, I am hip complete. I like the Chibi Forge. It is Rian Gonzalez, and I like her art. But I just bought for 1,200 the Hellfire Gala Forge, so I'm not spending on another Forge right now. I also like the Shang-Chi, but I just spent 1,200 on the Kim Jacinto Shang-Chi, so I'm not in the market for another one of those right now. I do have another Omega Red. I have the Luca Clarity one, but hip is hip. And then I opened my season pass mystery variant and got this Bucky too. So this Bucky that you're seeing here, the Noir Bucky, is now also mine. Today in the shop, I found Hip Venom, and I just bought Hip Carnage, and I knew when I saw Hip Venom, I was also going to buy Hip Venom. So guess what? I bought Hip Venom. A Captain America showed up. It's the Nullified, which is the wrong one. I told you which one I needed. So I have the Jacinto, Venom, and Carnage. I also have the Hip Venom and Carnage, which I think is pretty damn cool. This Midnight Suns Moon Knight is great, but I have my favorite Moon Knight in the game right now. I absolutely love the Hellfire Gala Moon Knight. I bought it, so it's mine. Peach Momoko Valkyrie is the second best Valkyrie, but I have the Rion one, so I'm okay with that. We talked about a Valkyrie deck like 2 days ago, so you saw that one. And I had a pixel, but now I have real art, so I'm down to 1 pixel rescue where I don't have base art. I got the Rion. Is this Rion? I believe this is Rion. Polaris, and I am done with Polaris. I have a Polaris I'm happy with. I'm very, very pleased. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, know how much I appreciate you guys supporting this video, supporting this channel, subscribing. I appreciate you guys just doing a giveaway to help out others is so cool. Everyone is amazing. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're getting ready for some really great holidays. Hopefully you have some time off work or school or whatever it is you do. And I will see you all tomorrow for 2 more snap takes. Show some love. Peace.